Okay, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Chelsea Talks. I'm your host, Noah Young. I'm here with a special guest, Dr. Thornbrough, and a very special guest, our mayor, Mr. Picklesimer. So,
How you doing, Noah?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Uh,
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. How are you doing, Dr.
I'm
Thornbrough?
doing great. Excited to be here.
I'm excited that y'all are here. So, would each of you like to tell us a little bit of yourself and how long you've been involved in the Chelsea community?
Sure, I can go ahead and start. I am in my 21st year as an educator at a Chelsea school, and I actually have been a member of the community for about 3 or 4 years longer than that. So not only do I work in this community, but I also live in this community. My wife and I have raised both of our kids here. Our kids have come through the Chelsea schools. One is now graduated, one is still at Chelsea High School. So we have a very strong vested interest in the health of our community and our schools.
Yes, I love Chelsea and all the people in it. So,
Well, Noah, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I was born and raised on the western side of Birmingham. Moved a little farther out west in 1969. I was 9 years old, or 10 years old, and I started a new school. And my first day of fifth grade, I met a blonde-haired, green-eyed girl, and me and that girl have been married for 46 years now. And so Cindy and I lived in the western Jefferson County area until the early 90s. In 1992, I was fortunate enough to be able to buy a Ford dealership in Sylacauga, Alabama. And with the help of a partner and a mentor, opened Picklesimer and Limbaugh Ford Mercury in 1992. And operated that business for 14 years. And in 2006, had an opportunity to sell that business to one of the larger dealer groups. And my sons I had raised in Sylacauga both had left for college, and both had made it pretty clear they were not interested in coming back to Sylacauga. So when I got that opportunity to sell the dealership in 2006, I did so. And I was still young enough to start a second career at that point, so we decided in 2006 to move to Chelsea. My brother already lived here. He had lived here since about 3 years then. He moved here in 2003. So we moved to Chelsea in 2006, and while I was in Sylacauga, I had developed a relationship with Mayor Niven and his wife. They were customers of mine at the dealership, and my brother had already joined Liberty Baptist Church and established a relationship there. And so immediately upon moving to Chelsea, we joined Liberty Baptist Church, and Mayor Niven and his wife were there. And shortly after that, one of the city council members that was serving at that time got sick and announced that he was going to have to retire from the council. And Mayor Niven asked me if I would be interested in applying for the appointment to the Chelsea City Council. And I'd never been in politics before, and so I decided to apply for that appointment and was appointed to the Chelsea City Council in late 2007. Finished that term and then ran for the office and won the seat for a second term, was voted by the council for that second term to be Mayor Pro Tem, and then ran and won a third term on the council. And then in 2015, Mayor Niven announced that he would be retiring at the end of his term in October of 2016. And so I, along with my family, we got together and decided that I would run for mayor of Chelsea, and announced my campaign to be mayor in March of 2016 and was elected in November of 2016. And in 2020, ran unopposed. So I am in my second term as Chelsea's mayor. Been mayor 7 years, got a little over 2 years left to go. And been in Chelsea now for 17 years, and it really feels like home. Where you raise your kids will always have a home feeling to you. So Sylacauga is still very important to us and will always feel like home to us. But Chelsea is very important to us, and we like it in Chelsea very much.
I think that's pretty interesting that you sold cars to someone and they helped you get to be the mayor.
It is. You know, you never know when you're building relationships. You never know when a relationship might circle back around and be a benefit to you. That's why it is always important to try to be nice and be kind to people and always do your best at the job you're doing, because you never know when that might roll back around. And if you didn't do your best, that also has a tendency to roll back around. So it's
Never know who God's going to put in your path, do you?
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. So,
And that reminds me of one of my favorite sayings is never forget to entertain strangers with kindness, because you never know when you're going to be unwittingly speaking with an angel. So I've always tried to take that mentality and that mindset everywhere that I go in life.
Yeah.
Treat everyone as if that's a possible angel that God has placed in front of you. So that's a cool story. I like that.
well, thank you. It's, you know, one of my favorite sayings is, it doesn't take talent to follow directions, and it doesn't take talent to be kind to someone. And so those two things have taken me a long way in my professional career and now in my political career.
So I know does your brother still live in Chelsea?
He does. We're actually next door neighbors. My brother and I live next door to each other in Chelsea Park.
And I taught and coached your brother's kids.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
the boy at least, yeah.
Yeah. He had
Great
his
kid.
daughter. His daughter Megan is a Chelsea graduate, and son Hunter is a Chelsea graduate. Megan is back in Chelsea. She went off to Troy to school and was very successful at Troy and got a broadcast journalism degree and moved to Dothan, or worked in Dothan, and was an evening news anchor at a station in Dothan, and then came to the classroom and started teaching a journalism class at a high school in that part of the world, and from that, as she grew in her talents and abilities, she started a part-time videographer business, doing video and of weddings and special events, and that business has grown exponentially, and she now travels all over the country, and she is a full-time wedding videographer.
How about that?
And just goes to some neat places, literally all over the country. She'll either go as the primary shooter or she'll go as the second shooter. But she turned a hobby, much like what you're doing right here, Noah. She turned a hobby like you're doing right here into a full-time career.
Yes, I've had a lot of teachers saying that this could be a full-time career option for me.
It really can be. This is terrific to see you guys doing this, and she is married. Megan is married to Bart Pettis, who's the Park and Rec director for the city of Chelsea, and Hunter, my nephew, is a very successful engineer with Robinson Morton and is now a project manager on a tremendous project in Charleston, South Carolina. So, a couple of Chelsea kids that have done very well.
Sounds like you got a successful family.
You know, God has been good. We're a blessed bunch. We're a family that loves and cares for each other, and we really value our family relationships. And we were all but Hunter and his wife Bethany were in the sanctuary at Liberty Baptist Church Sunday morning for my granddaughter Harper, that y'all may know. She goes to
Yes,
school
I
here.
know Harper
All
and
right.
Hudson.
Yeah,
And
Harper was baptized Sunday morning. We had
I saw
all of our
that.
family there, and even some extended family. So, family's very important to us.
It's always a good thing.
Thank you.
So, one of the main reasons we brought you out here today is talk about the NIT grant that has been established. So, how did that happen?
Well, the NIT grant story is really pretty unique, and it's a story that I love to tell. And when we actually had the night we had the public hearing to let our council hear from the public whether or not the public would like for us to pass a 1-cent sales tax to fund that would be devoted to education. After that public hearing was over, our council voted unanimously to pass the 1-cent sales tax. And I had a dad come up to me. He at that time, he was a middle school dad. He had 2 daughters that were in the middle school, and he came up to me and he said, Mayor, I'm excited to see the city get involved in education like this, and I'm really okay with the 1 cent sales tax. But, my daughters are not athletes. My daughters are, they're very, very smart, very much into academia. And what I want to know is how will my daughters benefit from this 1 cent sales tax? Is this just going to be for sports? You're just going to build stadiums and fields, and is it going to be all sports? And that conversation that I had with that gentleman, that his first name was Nick, really struck me. And so that night I went home and just got out a piece of paper and just put the basic fundamentals, just some basic guidelines as to what the grant program should be like, and from that conversation with him, and for him bringing to my attention that there's a whole lot more to education than just sports facilities. I took that basic set of guidelines that I put together that night. I took it to the council and we worked on it, and the NIC grant program was born. And so now we take the NIC grant has done a tremendous work with our 4 schools. We've given over $1.6 million to our 4 schools in the Chelsea area.
And that is Chelsea Park, Foes, Chelsea High School, and then this middle school.
That's
right?
correct. Those 4 schools. Now, at the inception of the program, Mount Laurel Elementary was a part of the Chelsea school system, and so for several years we made grants to them, and the money that we gave to Mount Laurel Elementary is in that $1.6 million. But I just think that's just a huge accomplishment.
And to be clear, that 1.6 million spans only over the course of 3 years now?
Yeah.
3
Yeah.
years. Yeah. So we're not talking a decade or more here. We're talking just in the past 3 years.
Right. I think it's actually for October of 2019. October of 2019 was when we passed.
Oh, was
the
it?
1 cent
Okay.
sales
4
tax.
years.
So we didn't get our first check from that 1 cent sales tax till spring of 20. Just,
Okay.
just over 3 years to be able to do that. And, that's also a testament to the businesses in Chelsea, because, all of the money that we have given, it's all been generated by 1 cent of sales tax. So our citizens doing business in Chelsea, buying their groceries in Chelsea, going to the restaurants, going to the stores, that's what makes this happen. And and now our city has grown. So in the last 7 years, it's not unusual for there to be $20 million worth of business done in our city in a month.
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah.
Since I've lived here, which has been 4 years, but my grandparents, they lived in Chelsea Park, so I would see them on the weekends a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just crazy how much Chelsea has grown into since I've lived here.
It's really grown a lot. So when the city of Chelsea has a $20 million retail month, that means we have $200,000 that comes into the 1 cent sales tax to be used for NIC grants and other school-related projects.
That's very cool.
Pardon me?
I said that's very cool.
It is. It is. It's been fun to watch.
So, Dr. Thornbrough, have you been able to see how the NIC grant has impacted Chelsea Middle School?
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. And I think when we talk about the impact of Chelsea Middle School, what we really want to look at is the impact to the students. Ultimately, that's what it's all about, is how can this funding help impact our students? Because it's you guys that this is all about. We can say that we're providing fund, or the city's providing the funding for the classroom teachers, but that's so they can better prepare the young people in the classroom. So when we talk about the NIC grant, we're talking about the actual impact to the students. And that's one of our litmus tests when we're looking at how can we best utilize these funds. The first question we always ask is, how can we maximize the impact to the students? We've seen these funds used to add and supplement technological needs in the classrooms, software licenses, and our top priority for all students and faculty alike on this campus is the safety. So these funds have also been used to improve the safety that we can provide to our students and to our faculty and staff as well. So we're not just talking about academic provisions here, but we also want to look very strongly at, first and foremost, the safety needs. And these funds over the last 3.5, 4 years have gone a long way in improving all of those. We're able to take this funding from the city and come alongside and partner with the many provisions and the great things that the county has done for us as well. And so when we talk about coupling the two of those avenues of funding together, so now what we've done is we've created a very strong and solid partnership, which by being good stewards of both of these avenues of funding, we can maximize the impact to our students. And that's one of the things I want to make sure that we convey to anyone out there listening to this podcast is it's all about the students.
Yeah.
Meeting the social and emotional and academic needs of our kids in our schools. And we're very fortunate to have the benefit of everything that the city of Chelsea and Mayor Picklesimer and our city council have done for us through this funding, but as well as everything that the county has done for us. So, we're blessed in a lot of ways that a lot of other schools aren't, that we've got that strong partnership in place.
Yeah, I feel very, very safe at our school because we had that incident last week. Was it last week or the week before?
Last week, yeah.
Yeah, but I felt very safe because I heard that it was shut down before school even started. So.
And the good news is something that we can sit here and call an incident really wasn't an incident.
Yeah.
But in our minds and in the minds of the kids and the parents out there in the community, it's an incident. But in the reality of things, it didn't even involve this. Didn't even
It turned
involve
into a non-event.
Didn't even involve any
Yeah.
school. So, but we, through the training that's been provided for us through our school district and through Deputy Dempsey and the SRO program that we've got here, the good news is we were all in a great place to provide the best safety possible for our kids and our faculty and staff. So, yeah, it's funny when I hear people talk about the incident, and at the genesis of all of it, we treat it as an incident until we can get to the bottom of it, and we were able to quickly do that. So, yeah, safety is something that's taken very importantly here at Chelsea, as it is all of the Shelby County schools. And so, when we talk about the academic needs of the students, yes, that's a huge priority for us. But when we're walking around and talking with people and looking at the campus and talking with the mayor and the city council and community members, safety of the students and faculty, that's always our top priority.
Yes, sir. So, Mayor Picklesimer, out of that $1.6 million that's been raised for the 4 schools, how much of it has been devoted to Chelsea Middle School?
Over $40,000 just this year alone, and this school year we've given over $40,000. But since the birth of the NIC grant program, Chelsea Middle School has received over $330,000.
I feel very blessed about that NIC grant program.
That's cool, isn't it? Over $330,000, and
because a lot of that first initial money this year has come from all this stuff, and I'm very grateful for it.
Now think about it. We're able to do this podcast this morning because of the NIC grant.
yeah, I look around all this equipment, and the like the security cameras that you mentioned. There have been several things over the years that we've approved, and even some of them outside of the actual NIC grant program because of how important they were, security cameras or whatever it is. And you don't see those things when you're just walking around. You don't see the security cameras, but I was just across the hall at the Shelby County Teacher of the Year, and you look in a room and there's a smart board in there, and there's all of the technology that you guys get to enjoy. Ken and I'm about a decade older than him, or maybe more than that. But we were talking earlier about the difference in the classroom environment now compared to when we were going, and what you guys get to enjoy and use. But you're also preparing for a future that will be technology driven. That he and I weren't, and it was just a different time. And so I'm happy that we can make the technology available to give all of the students every opportunity to excel in whatever direction they choose to do so.
Yes,
And
sir.
and I think one of the cool things too is it's easy to look around the room here and see the technology involved, and we see the young people over here, the young gentleman over here working the board and all of that, and but it's also that human side of it that you learn from this, the people skills that you learn meeting and talking with different people. You had mentioned earlier you were nervous just to come in here and sit down with a mate. Well, now look at you. You're an 8th grade student at Chelsea Middle, and you're sitting here having a very professional conversation with the mayor, and then he's impressed with what he's seeing with these young gentlemen doing. So it's not just about the hardware and the that you can see, the tangible stuff. It's those people skills that you can develop through the use of this. So there's that human side of it that's not as visible a lot of times, but it's impacted greatly through projects like this.
Definitely.
Well, we've also done some brick and mortar. We have we're building a new gymnasium at Chelsea Park Elementary. To this point, they've had is just a little playroom, so to speak, and so we're spending a little over $4 million to build a gymnasium for them on the campus there at Chelsea Park, and glad to see that happening. But you take, for example, the video board at the high school. The NIC grants, we just funded about $320,000 of the Jumbotron at the high school. And Mayor, that seems like a lot of money. Why would you do that? Well, if you just saw the difference in the production on that video board from the first week to the 4th week, how much more those students were able to do with that Jumbotron. And there are life. You can make a living doing the work of programming that type of equipment. So, it was a lot of money, but the high school will be able to use that in so many different ways. It'll be used for graduations. It'll be used for all types of events, fundraising events. But a main thing is it gave them the option to create an entire curriculum based on the programming of that technology. And so they'll be just like at the high school. We have students that will graduate ready to walk into an operating room through that health program at the high school. Now we'll have students that will graduate high school ready to walk into a career of programming heavy technology like that. And it's just real cool. That's just a side benefit of some things that we get to do with the NIC grant.
So, speaking of the NIC grant, what do you think the future of it looks like?
It should continue to grow as our retail base grows. As both of you know, in the last 7 years, we've had a lot of new businesses come to Chelsea, and I have some things that I'm working on now that I really can't talk about, but a couple of them are pretty big and they're pretty exciting, and so as Chelsea continues to grow from a commercial and retail standpoint, the 1 cent sales tax will just continue to get to be more and more. So now, we think $200,000 in a month on the 1 cent sales tax is real good. Before long, 200,000 may be the average, or maybe even. Do you remember when all we got was 200,000? So as we grow, we'll be able to do a lot of neat things. And the NIC grant program it's been massaged, and there's been some small changes that have been made to it, but all with the emphasis to make it better, to make it more equitable to all the schools. And now, with Mount Laurel moving to the Oak Mountain School District, all of the money will be shared by the 4 schools here. So the future of the NIC grant program is bright.
I think we're always looking for ways to tweak and as you say, massage that NIC grant program so that we can maximize that benefit for our kids. We can expedite the process. We can maximize the financial impact to the teachers in the classroom. So, it wasn't a perfect process at the inception of it, but over the years, with the great minds working behind the scenes and working on it, and having a chance to speak with some of those guys, it's been impressive to see how far that program has really come, and how the important thing is to keep your eyes on the prize and keep reminding yourself, what is it that we really want to get? What is the end goal from this NIC program? And using that to drive any changes and tweaks that are made to it. So, and a lot of the things that we're finding out that need to be tweaked or massaged comes through conversations with the teachers themselves. Hey, what is it? There was a survey sent out to all of the faculty and staffs in the Chelsea schools last year and wanting some feedback from them. And so we're going right to the source, and we're getting that feedback from the faculty, the teachers themselves, and saying, hey, what is it that the city can do through this program to better serve your needs, to provide for you? And so that was neat to see that. And I think we got a lot of good feedback from the teachers that went a long way in helping us improve that process.
Our NIC grant committee, Noah, just FYI, our NIC grant committee has a specific makeup. We have an educator that sits on the NIC grant committee. We have 2 city council members that sit on the NIC grant committee. We have a city employee that sits on the NIC grant committee, and we have some parents, a couple of parents. So that the makeup of the group, I think, is significant. That it's not all city leaders making the decision. It's not all educators making the decision. It is a combination of people and with their different skills and sets of expertise that make up the NIC grant committee. I'm not on it. I don't serve on the NIC grant committee. I don't want to. I have had my grandniece Megan's daughter Bennett come up to me and said, "Pop, my teacher put in a NIC grant. I hope y'all will approve it." But maybe they will. But I'm not on that committee. But I think it's neat the way that we have a combination of different skill sets going together to make up this committee.
Yes, sir. I think it's pretty neat how y'all get so many people involved with it at different levels in our community.
Well, thank you.
So, how does someone apply for the NIC grant program?
Well, and Dr. Thornbrough is very familiar with this process too. We have an application. We have a grant application that teachers and administrators fill out, and this application not only tells what it is that they'd like to have the money spent on, but also how many students it will affect, and what the overall effect of the awarding of the grant will be. And then it requires someone from the administration to put their signature on it and somewhat in agreement that it's a good this was a good project. What am I leaving out?
No, that's when that application, so I can't speak to all of the other Chelsea schools, but here at Chelsea Middle School, a link to the city application for the NIC grant is placed on our faculty shared drive. And that is brought to the attention of all of our faculty members at the very beginning of the school year, before you guys arrive on campus and we're having those meetings. We're always, one of the first things we do is, hey guys, here's where you go to find the application for the NIC grant. These are the things that are funded through the NIC grant. Remember, we're looking for something that can impact students. If it doesn't impact students, there's no need to fill out the application. But if you feel that it impacts students, go ahead and fill that out, and then that goes to an administrator's desk who really provides that first level of screening. And the one thing they're going to look at is, does this in any way impact students? And if so, what is that impact and how many? And once it meets that benchmark, it's then forwarded on to the City of Chelsea, which it then goes through the process of the NIC grant committee. So remember, and that's something that I always want to point back to in all of these discussions, is how does it impact students? And that's something that I don't want to be missed here. So yeah, and again, that process is something, the timing of all of it, it's kind of been tweaked a little bit throughout the years, and I think that they're getting it about as close to perfect as possible, but we're always looking for ways to improve it from an educator side and from a community and the City of Chelsea side as well. So I think it's pretty similar with the other schools in the school zone as well, but that's what it looks like at Chelsea Middle School.
Yes, sir, because I know we just got a grant for a new laptop that can have like four of these mics and setups on it.
Right.
And
right.
a hard drive and stuff all for it, to like where we can connect all 4 of these to one laptop, because without that adapter, we wouldn't be able to have any of these on it, really.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's cool. Glad you can.
So I'm guessing a student can't apply for one.
Well, I saw that question, and excuse me for interrupting, Ken, but a lot of the things that the teachers will actually ask for will actually be because a student
brought it to their attention.
Said, Mr. or Miss So-and-so, what about this? Is it possible we could do this? So, no, a student can't directly apply. At this point, who knows what the future will hold, a student application with administration signing off on it, who knows? Maybe in the future.
Can you click cancel up there? Just tap it with your finger on cancel. Okay.
Okay, did I do that?
No,
Oh, okay.
it'll happen
Okay,
after
all right,
it's
good
been
then.
going for a while.
Yeah, so, currently students can't apply directly, but I know that student requests are the spirit behind a lot of big grants.
I do know several teachers I've spoken with over the past several years have relied very heavily on the feedback that they've gotten from students in their classrooms. So, it's just like something with this. One of the technological needs y'all might have, Miss English may not be aware of it until one of you guys brings it to her attention, and things like that happen. So indirectly, students are able to have their thoughts and ideas projected through the application process. So absolutely.
Yes, sir, because who knows what this could bloom into. So
Sure. Another side benefit of having this NIG grant program is it makes this Chelsea Middle School attractive to teachers, the quality of Miss English. I mean, she's relatively new, right?
First
This
year.
is her
Yeah,
first year.
she's new, and to have a young lady of her caliber come and join
Very
us.
fortunate to have her.
Very
here.
fortunate to have her.
Our students are.
And you need to be able to fuel what she needs to do her job effectively, and we're very excited to have her, and hopefully our NIC grant program will help in the recruiting in the future as our school.
It's
school
definitely
grows and
incentive that we can show and to prospective hires, and say, this is something that we offer here at Chelsea Middle School that you may not have offered at other places. So it's definitely one of those shiny little toys that we can
It
dangle
is.
in front of prospective hires, that somebody we really want, so.
And by the way,
absolutely.
the Chelsea NIC grant program was the first of its kind in the state of Alabama, and now there's several of the cities that have copied our, and that's the greatest form of flattery for them to copy what we've done. But when we initiated this NIC grant program, it was the first that we knew of in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, I know we've had educators from other schools reach out to us, reach out to the teachers, saying, hey, tell us about this NIC. And I think you guys have had city leaders reach out
We
to
have.
y'all as well, inquiring about it. So now, as the mayor is talking about, you're seeing them pop up all around, and we're at the epicenter of it. So it's kind of cool to be a part of that, the genesis of it all. So it's a neat thing to see.
And that's something that the city of Chelsea, that's not the first thing. Our Chelsea Citizens Observer Patrol, our COPs, the cars you see riding around with our volunteers, it was the first one of its kind in the state. So, Chelsea is a very innovative place. And the reason for that is we, I think the reason for that is because we attract quality people. And, that begins with quality citizens, but it extends to quality administrators, quality teachers, and quality kids. And so we're excited to see what the future holds for the city of Chelsea.
Yes, sir. So, speaking of the community of Chelsea, what are some ways us students and teachers and all the faculty can get involved in the community?
Well, there are a lot of organizations within the school that you can be a part of that do community projects around, and maybe not so many in middle school, but once you get to the high school level, groups that do service projects. So that's a big thing. But one thing is just to, take part in the Park and Rec programs that are offered to you. Take part in the library programs that are offered. So be active and try to be a part of the community and try to give something back rather than just always being somebody that's a taker. Because my entire life has proved to me that I can't outgive. I can't give more than I get back. It's just time after time. The more I give into something, the more I get back. So, committing yourself to giving more to the community it'll just enhance what you're able to receive and enjoy from the community.
Yeah, I would just echo the same thing that the mayor's saying, and I might even expand on that a little bit. So I do know that once you get to the high school, and you gentlemen will find this out next year as you get up there, a lot more opportunities out there to plug into the community. But I would also venture, plug into your local churches. That's a great way, through those local churches and the different programs they've got, they plug into the community and get the youth involved very heavily into the local communities and even some of the outside communities. So that's always an option out there. So there are plenty of ways out there to plug into the community. And if anybody ever has any questions or wants or needs and would like to learn more about it, just the office doors are always open up there. I know the city hall is always open. Just never hurts to stop in and inquire about it. So, hey, I would like to help. Where is their need? Find that unmet need and then meet that need. And it never hurts to stop and ask.
Yes, sir, because on the topic of, like, those churches, I know some students can't go to churches and stuff. So, like, I'm very grateful that before school we have first priority and that Bible study during the week.
Well, we have the big time ministries, first priority, things like that. We've got some really good opportunities for the students here on the campus as well. Absolutely correct.
So, I mean, I guess that wraps it up. So,
Well, you have what a great host you are. Congratulations. This was very smooth, very professional. And these guys over here behind the scenes, we need to spin that camera around. Let's get them a little camera time. They've done such a great job. Again, we're so excited that we were able to through the Nick Grant program, be a small part of putting this equipment together and be a part of this Chelsea Talks. It was fun. I look forward to an invitation back.
thank you very much for coming out.
Sure.
So,
No, I certainly appreciate the opportunity as well. And I know you said at the beginning you were a little nervous, but man, you handled it like a pro. And I'm impressed. And it doesn't happen without these gentlemen over here, the hired guns on the technology. So thank you guys as well. And Mr. Mayor, as always, thank you so much
Well,
for
it's my
everything that
pleasure,
you and
and
the
thank
city
you
have
to-
done for the Chelsea schools.
Yeah,
We
thank you
certainly
to
do
Miss
appreciate
English
it.
too. I really appreciate all she's done to put this together.
Miss English, she's a very, very good teacher.
She is that.
Very
Yeah.
fortunate to have her here.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for coming out. So, this is Noah Young, turning off from Chelsea Talks. Make sure you like and subscribe for more videos like this, and we'll see you next time.